from the room there. Two-door plastic
Is that what it is? I mean, that's a nice ride. I think that since you just had a birthday, and obviously this is yours, you should get to meet for my birthday. So let's talk to your brother about it. What do you think? Or your brother-in-law, I should say.
I think PJ wants to keep it, so park it next to a C-Lake.
All right, that works. Hey, thank you again for all tuning in to another live edition. This is, I'm trying to recap.
I think we're 39 or 40.
Right, well, anyways, thank you all for tuning in. And if you haven't before, like always, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, tell a friend, and just share. And also, if you have any questions or comments, like always, we'll have it at the end of the video. That way you guys will be able to ask the questions directly to us. And we have some special guests here. They're kind of over there in the wings, you know, so how about Mike go that way? You bring them on. You want to do it one by one? You want to do it all at once? How do you want to do it?
One at a time. First, let's go by age first. Robert Eichelberg, come on down.
He's not on a mic though, Mike.
Okay, well then we'll go with Marcus Parksley. Come on over.
Way to
Marcus
be.
is with IGL Coatings, and they make an incredible line of products. And he's here for my big 3-day class to represent IGL Coatings. And we brought down swag bags, which scan off a leaf, plus their compact polishers, and then we've got the coatings stores here at Autogeek. So Marcus, how you doing? Well, thank you very much. And so we've got Marcus here. The next is Jim Lefebvre from Dr. Beasley's. Jim, how you doing, man? You're great. So Dr. Beasley's is, I tell you, man, this guy's rocking and rolling in the car detailing world with all the new innovative products that he's introducing. I don't think, I know I'm not keeping up. I think the last one brought out was the LS10.
Yeah, the LS10 is huge.
And I've used it. It's an amazing product. In fact, I have 2 bottles of it
here, and I don't want to share it with the class, but we're going to.
Okay, great.
And then we got Jason Brennan from LC Power Tools and Lake Country Pad Manufacturing.
How you doing, buddy?
Jason, how you doing?
Doing great.
Squeeze on in here.
Absolutely.
No, none of us are going to catch anything that we're not going to catch anyway, so we're all good. So guys, first of all, just
you guys can spread out a little bit. You guys don't have to be all on top of each other like that.
Okay.
And I appreciate you guys all coming down. And again, all 3 of these guys are going to be here for my big 3-day class. I teach a 3-day detailing class 3 times a year here at Autogeek. And historically, they've always been January, May, and September. And because Mobile Tech Expo keeps changing their time frame around their schedule, it kind of throws me off. So now we're just holding my first class in February every year, and that's this weekend. And I've got 16 cars coming in. You know, the last class, I think you guys were all here, right?
I was.
And we had 17 cars. So we're shy 1 car, but still 17 cars in 3 days. That's a lot of hands-on time. There's no chairs. You guys see any chairs?
No chairs.
There's no chairs for this class. 0 chairs. It's all working on cool stuff like this. So tell you what, you know, one of the things I think, since this is a new year, we wanted to talk about was maybe get your guys' insights of where you think the industry might be going, either on the manufacturing side or on the hands-on, the ownership, the detailing side. And we could just start with whoever wants to maybe just jump in first.
Well, not everybody jump in at once.
And if you don't want to jump in, I'll just keep on talking.
We could. How about Marcus? What do you think from IGL? What do you think is happening?
Honestly,
You guys got a brand new something.
yeah, we've got a couple new things coming. Very exciting. We got some DIY products for the enthusiast, and then we have some pro line stuff coming as well. The industry, looking at as technology is growing, I'm also seeing a resurgence in the hands-on, old-school type detailing. So your boot camp class is absolutely something that's important anymore.
Gotcha.
Or re-important again, you know.
Yeah, and when you say old school, do you mean working by machine or working by hand? I always think working by hand.
Well, just in the where people are really wanting to get into the cars again.
Sure, gotcha.
You know,
Gotcha.
whether it's with a machine or by hand, they're really wanting to get to keep that car alive.
Gotcha. So one of the things that I always share when I'm talking shop with people is the last 5 or 6 years, I've seen a repeating trend in my car detailing classes, and it's very interesting. What happens is, you know, a lot of people think that my detailing classes cater to professional detailers, and I do that. I always think it's funny when you say do. I do that, do. But half the people that come to my class are enthusiasts that just want to work on their own car. And imagine some guy or even some girl that buys something like this or the 63 Fury over there, and they buy it online. This happens all too often. On camera, on TV, or on a website, it looks amazing. And then when you get it in front of you, you see all the swirls and scratches. And so they want to work on it, but they really haven't got a clue as to what they're doing. So, about 50% of the people that attend my classes are they're enthusiasts. They got something cool they want to work on, but they're scared to touch it. And the other 50% are detailers either starting out or established. But the trend I've always seen is guys coming to my class that are retiring from their career jobs and they want to start a part-time detailing business. And that's just a trend I keep seeing. And it used to be in the old days, a guy could actually start a mechanicking business. You know, you're replacing carburetors and mufflers and doing brakes. But today's cars are so complicated, nobody starts an automotive mechanic shop anymore. Right. You know, so what's left? If you can't do the mechanical, what's left? Detailing. So that's the trend I've seen is guys retiring, they want to do something with cars, they're not going to be working on the motors and the brakes and all that stuff because it's all computerized, so they gravitate into the detailing industry. And I think we just had another guest arrive.
Yes, I was about ready to jump in, aren't you? We have Chris Metcalf that just showed up in here.
From Flex Power Tools. Come on in, Chris.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Sorry I'm late. I literally got off the flight, came right over to see you. So.
Did you fly into West Palm Beach?
No, today's been a weird day. My flight got canceled.
Because
of the storm.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, and then
Miami?
I ended up flying to Orlando and then driving down, so it's all good. But
everybody thinks it's okay to fly into Orlando, but the freeways are usually so torn up and the traffic's so messy. I only go to Orlando if someone holds me at gunpoint and says you're going. So.
I knew I had to be here with all these guys. Look at this. This is a lot of the top people in the industry.
We got you and then the riffraff.
Hopefully we go out and have a good time tonight.
Yeah. So we were kind of talking about you. I know you walked in. We were talking about where we see trends going to the future. Marcus brought up that he sees people a resurgence of people going back old school, meaning working on the cars themselves.
Right.
And I think COVID may have had something to do with this because once everybody got locked down, our sales went up because everybody's stuck at home and you can only watch so many repeats of Seinfeld, right? Am I right? Or Big Bang?
Wow, you're dating yourself.
We're Big Bang people. I never actually saw any of the Seinfeld, so I just know about it. But our sales went up because you're stuck at home, so you might as well go out the garage and do that thing you've been putting off for months and sometimes years, and that's take care of the family car or the special toy you may have. In the case of this '57 Corvette here. So, well, that's a good insight, and I think we've seen the same thing just reflected in our sales.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. We call them prosumers, professional consumers, and we've seen a resurgence of that end of our business. Also, I think in our industry of making chemicals and making products, we're making it easier to use the products where it was just for professionals. And it kind of came together. We get the prosumers, they can now use these products, and they're comfortable with that, and they're educating themselves on YouTube, wherever they watch everything. And we have seen a resurgence in that market.
Well, it's a good insight. And of course, you're really close to it being a manufacturer, and you have your own functioning detail business right in the heart of old school downtown Chicago.
So you're really happy that you're here today.
Come gather around this, and then we can kind of this can be like our
Mike likes it when you're tight and love. That's what it is.
Well, no, I just feel kind of weird hovering around it. So, well, Jason, what about yourself? Now you're involved in both the tool side and the pad side.
Yeah, and I would add to exactly what these guys are saying. Same thing for us. We saw pad sales go through the roof last year. Wow. And why is that? People are at home. But the technology has vastly improved in the last 5-10 years, exponentially. So I know for me, a lot of people could polish a car, it looks better, but now you can make a car look great. And even if you don't have the right products, you can probably make it look 80% better. And now you can fine tune it with a pad, with a polish, a compound, different things. The technology we're seeing, like Dr. Beasley's products that you don't have to prep. You have a primer product that eliminates a step. So it brings a lot of those professional results to the average consumer, and I think it's just exploded. We're all selling tools, we're all selling pads, compounds, and polishes. As far as trends, we see a lot of people buying smaller pads than they used to.
Yeah.
It used to be a big body shop pad of 8 inches.
Yeah.
Right.
And now with the DA, 6. But for us, if I start to look at our reporting, seeing a lot more 5-inch pad sales as opposed to 6. So is that because of the curvature of the car? There's less real estate.
Yep.
It just happens to be a trend so that we see.
When I first came to work here at Autogeek, they sold a lot of polisher kits with 6.5-inch CCS pads, which is a pretty good sized pad.
It's a meaty one.
It's thick and it's big, and I was kind of the thorn in everybody's side here because I kept saying, well, no, those are great pads, but they're not good pads for the tools we're using on. We need thinner pads and smaller pads so they'll rotate really good. And nowadays, I think almost all of our kits switched over to the 5.5-inch, and they do fit body panels better. And by fitting body panels, what I mean by that is, kind of trade places here. When you have a Corvette, and say you have well, this is really hard to show.
Yeah.
But say you have a chrome edge here, and then say you had a hard body line here. A pad will fit in between those two better than a bigger pad. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
So smaller pads fit body lines much better. You can have your space back there if you want to, Chris.
So basically, you're saying the cars have changed, so it's changed the way that people use their pads.
Oh, for sure. Modern cars, the design style of modern cars, they have raised body lines to give them accent, and they're more compact, and then you have edges, like the edge of a fender, edge of a hood. And, as you're machine buffing, you're supposed to stay off raised body lines and edges, so a pad that fits in between them. But could you pan over to that Fury just at all? Bob, we're going to be filming you for a second. That's a 1963 Fury that's here for my class for wet sanding. It's got a brand new paint job on it with a lot of dirt and orange peel in it. But if you look at the body panels on that, they're just big, huge, and flat. And that's typical of the cars from the 1930s all the way up to the 1980s. And it was back in the late 70s and the 80s. Remember when the Ford made that horrible mistake and introduced the 1974 Mustang?
What
was that? That was not a Mustang.
Yeah.
But that was a small car. That was the trend. There was the Bobcat, the Pinto, the Vega.
Yep.
I mean, there were all these little small cars because of the gas prices. And as the car styles got smaller, the body panels changed. And you didn't have these big, look at a 1967 Lincoln Continental. Right. Look how big the panels are and flat. The doors are huge, and you could buff with any size pad on that. But yeah, modern cars, look at the, the Nissan Juke?
Juke?
Yeah, look at the weird body lines and body panels on that, So smaller pads just tend to, I think, work better for modern cars.
And aerodynamics had a kick in all that.
Aerodynamics did have a big kick in that. Now, if you look at a lot of the Teslas, though, they got big flat flowing panels, and they don't need. Well, they still need aerodynamics, but it's for a different reason, not because of the gas crunch. So, Chris, what have you seen in your industry as far as maybe changing trends or things like that?
Obviously I relate to the power tools, so I'm going to tell you.
Cordless.
Cordless.
The bottom line, you're really, when I look at the roadmap that we have with our company, it's cordless, cordless, cordless. Yeah. And I think, I know that Flex is one of the first ones to really introduce that cordless line in the detail market. Mm-hmm. I think you're going to start seeing a lot more cordless become available through the other vendors or manufacturers as well. But what I would tell you is that, we just have more and more products that are coming out cordless. The new PXE80, I know that's been a favorite of a lot of people this year. It's been a very popular unit, and just new and innovative products like that. Making it easier for detailers, the bottom line.
Here, I'll put you on the spot. So when you guys launched the PXE80 and put it in the catalog, it was called the Game Changer. Are we going to change that to the Pixie now?
The Pixie, yeah. We're here at Autogeek. It's called the Pixie.
The Game Changer. Sorry, that was lame.
Wrong one.
I think I'm actually the guy that coined the term Pixie just because I ran the PXE together. And Pixie also means small fairy-like creature, and it's a small tool.
That's what every man wants.
That was the problem. When I told everybody about the small fairy-like tool, that's what killed it.
I don't want to hear about your small fairy-like tool.
Germany didn't want to hear that.
Hey.
But I do like the word Pixie.
Pixie.
It is a coin. It's a coin term, and people would relate to that unit.
And nobody needs to know the word 80. And I make so much fun of your guys' tools because of all the numbers and stuff. And
a lot of numbers.
Nobody calls them by part numbers. It's you need to give it a nickname. Even like Rupes, Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And and their Bigfoot, of course, means big footprint, but now they make little tools, but we all know the name Bigfoot. So a catchy name just is easier for guys to remember, because like we used to sell the Makita PO 5000C, okay? Everybody's going, what the hell's that? Well, nobody knows what that is, because who's going to call it the Makita PO 5000C except for me, you know? So people just call it a Makita, and then they do dumb things like call it the forced rotation. Hey guys, if you're watching this right now, you know what a forced rotation tool is? It's a rotary forced rotation. So many guys call the gear-driven Melee, the PO 5000C, and the Beast, the flex tools, forced rotations. Those aren't a forced rotation, they're forced rotation, forced oscillation. You got to add 2 more words if you want to be technically correct. Forced rotation is a rotary buffer.
Boom, dropping that knowledge.
Just drop that mic and walk away. I see it all the time. People don't know that, they just don't type, you know, they're lazy.
Wow.
I'm a speed typist, so it doesn't matter to me. I can
Are
type
you
out 2 more
angry
words.
today?
I am not angry, but I am amped up because I'm excited for this big class coming up this weekend.
And that's the reason why all the vendors are here, is because they're actually going to teach the class, and you're just going to go home and take another holiday break. You know,
Hey, don't let these guys catch on to my plan. See, here's what we do is usually if I'm here by myself, I got to do everything, all the talking. As soon as I have a guest come in, like Chris or Jim over here, I say, hey, everybody, Jim's going to tell you a little bit about Dr. Beasley products, and then I can walk off to my office and take a little nap.
But that's also the cool thing about it is, you know, you get actually in these classes, you actually get to talk to the industry, into the reps that are actually in the manufacturers that actually make it. So there's that old saying, if you want the answer, go straight to the horse's mouth. So
Exactly.
I mean, that's what's cool about all this.
But there's also a lot of people that take your class that aren't, you know, beginners. I mean, there are people that are industry, you know, have businesses and things, and they come just to learn more, and they love it when we're here. And I like to hear from those people, to be honest with you. It's nice to hear their feedback that they give us, and we take that back, you know, and
So you're doing industry research.
So the
That's why we're all
word
here.
is seasoned veterans.
seasoned veterans. There
So
you
you
go.
got newbies and seasoned veterans. And yeah, a lot of the seasoned veterans come down because, quite frankly, and I don't know if you can pan all the tools. I know the Udos are kind of hidden at the beginning over there, but this room is just packed with tools and pads and products. And even seasoned veterans, you know, before you jump in and start spending money on tools, it's kind of nice to get your hands on it, see if you like it. We call it try before you buy. And, you know, you could go out and just watch the YouTube video, but you'll get the tool in your hand. So when you come to this class, you get to play with so many different things and work on such a wide variety of cars that by the time the class is over, not only are you tired, but you know you've refined down, you know, the things that you think are going to fit your style of detailing better than guessing at it, spending money, and then once you open that package up, then go out in the garage and use it. It's game over. It's yours now.
Right.
So.
Many times, I think, to add to that, when you go to a class like this, a lot of times what you choose is a personal choice, even within the product line. So, you know, this is a chance to get to try all these different things. Many people have different coatings, different polishes, and everything, and different pads. So it's a personal choice. And where else are you going to get that besides a class like this? You're not going to go out and buy these things. So this is hands-on, personal choice. What you want to use.
Yancy, can you scan the top of that shelf up there?
Wow, you like me.
I'm making you work, buddy. If you look up there, you're going to see rag top for convertible tops in the spray can. You'll see the rag top for tonneau covers. And then you're going to see 303 aerospace fabric cleaner, and also they're protected. And in this class, I've got 3 convertibles, one with a cloth top. This Vet has a vinyl top. I have a cloth top Mustang coming down. I have a cloth top 1968 Buick GS convertible coming down. And we've got a Ram pickup out there with a vinyl top. So we're going to be able to showcase 2 different brands, multiple products on taking care of the 2 different primary types of convertibles, canvas and cloth, and also something that's real popular is a tonneau cover, which you even drove in and I pointed to today. So tonneau covers are real popular in trucks because it keeps the bad guys from seeing what you have in the back so they can't steal it. It's an extra step. If they really want it, they're going to get it. Exactly. But at some point, you got to put something on there to take care of it. And I like to go over all the techniques for how to properly clean it and then properly protect it. And sometimes they're little, but sometimes they're major techniques that you got to know or you're going to screw something up.
All right, I just want to interrupt you real quick. People are wanting another rundown of names really fast. So
Gotcha.
So we have Marcus.
We
have Jason. We have Jim from Dr. Beasley's. And then we have Mike. And then we have Chris. And over here we have Bob behind me. He's shy. Okay, sorry. Go on. Continue.
Anyway, well, but anyway, you had interjected and said, "Are you amped up or something?" I said, "Yeah, because we're getting ready to do a big 3-day class." So just for fun, you know what I got to do is I usually get up about 4:30. I'm out the door at 5, and I'm down to Dunkin' Donuts by 5:30, picking up coffee, bagels, and donuts to get them down here. So when everybody shows up, they got something to eat. and what I've done over the years now is that I have a printout, and I just print out how many of each thing I want. And the first morning I go down to my local Dunkin' Donuts, even though I've been going there for 10 years now. None of them remember me, so I just give them a printout and I say I'll be here at 5:30 in the morning to get all this stuff for the next 3 days in a row, and then sometimes they still screw it up.
I guess you just didn't leave that big of an impression on them.
But anyway, they do take care of us because we go through a lot of coffee and donuts in the morning.
All right, I got a question for you guys. Whoever wants to answer it can answer it. What is one of your most memorable detailing jobs that you did, or a car that you've worked on? Wow. Not everybody answered.
I think we've all been on some pretty cool projects. I mean, I was with Sonax. I think you were there. We were in the basement of the museum in Indianapolis, and we were working on some cars that had only seen the day, the light of day, like once around the track, and that was it.
Yeah, that was actually you and Michael Pena and Robert, and
Yep.
I didn't get invited to that.
Well, it was.
So
But you know the basement I'm talking about.
Yeah. We did get to work on up there at the same museum. We worked on the Duesenberg. That was owned by Ozzy. Was it Ozzy
Yes.
Duesenberg?
Yes.
The originator and founder of Duesenberg. We detailed his personal daily driver for our TV show back then.
It was so nerve-wracking working on that car because there's no value to that car. There's not really a price tag on it because they don't go to auction.
And what a lot of people don't know, and I'll just go ahead and share this, I actually don't like working on those types of cars. You know, the big Studebakers and the big Rolls Royces. I mean, the classics from the 1930s, because they're so ornate is the word. And they're complicated, they're big, they're complicated, and they're big. There's nothing fun about them. The nicest or the most fun car I like to buff out is a typical 1969 Chevelle. Big flat panels, no plastic trim. Right? Nothing to tape off. You run the buffer over the trim.
He likes
makes
the
it shiny.
69 Chevelle.
Yeah, 69 Chevelles. I mean, the panels don't get any smoother and flatter than that. And but for me, I've worked on a lot of really strange stuff. But one of the most memorable things I ever buffed out was the chicken truck.
Chicken truck.
The chicken truck. So I used to detail a lot out of my buddy's shop, Glenn Soto in Albany, Oregon. And one day I pulled up to his shop, and there was a 1963 Chevy 3/4 ton 2-wheel drive farm truck there. And most of the truck was just ugly brown, except for at some point someone had pulled off the hood and a rear fender off of a matching orange truck and bolted them on this brown truck. And everything was all oxidized evenly and it had hay in it. I mean, it was just a farm truck. And I went over to it, and all I did is buff out the orange parts. I left all the brown parts alone, and I never met the owner. I hit all the chrome in the glass too, but it was kind of funny because, I just buffed out just the orange. That's my favorite color, is orange. And I left the brown parts all oxidized. And I wonder what he thought when he came and picked up his truck. What the hell?
Jim, what's the coolest car that's coming? I know you're in downtown Chicago, so.
When he said most memorable experience I had, first thing that comes to my mind, when someone messed something up, and then they came to us to get it fixed.
Oh, look at that. Spoken like a true
So I
salesman.
think, you had a bunch of people who wax their car, they put a coat of wax on it, and they think the longer they leave it on, the better it is. And so we have left, I remember the Saab came in, and it's just coated in this yellow, swirly looking marks on it. And we're like, what is that? Well, he left it on for a day or so, and thinking that the longer it was on, the better it was. So now it was crusty and everything like that. So we had to go back and fix that.
Ow.
And the other story, someone took those green little sponge scouring pads that you clean.
Scotch-Brite.
Scotch-Brite.
Yeah.
Those pads, and someone that used for your pans, someone used it on their car.
Yeah.
They had scratch marks all over the place.
I've seen that before too.
And we had to fix that. I don't know what they were doing. They were getting something else. Maybe it was overspray or something.
Oh my God.
Well,
we had to polish that thing
It's
up.
tree sap. So people will see tree sap on the hood of their car, and they'll go to the kitchen and grab that pot scrubbing thing, thinking that they'll get it off, and it may get it off, but it's
Oh,
also
it will
gonna
get it
scratch the
off
hell
along
out
with
of
the
the
paint.
It gets a lot of.
Yeah, and I tell you, when clear coats first were introduced in the 1980s here in the United States, a lot of people would still use old school style compounds. And you would rub a spot in the middle of the hood with this old compound trying to get something off, and it might get it off, but it'd leave this big old scour mark where the rub.
That's classic.
Yeah, because back then all the abrasive technology was so caveman, as I like
Right.
to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Jason, memorable for you.
Memorable or favorite, probably two different things, but I'm a gearhead. So I grew up in muscle cars and stuff. So, polishing a Ferrari or Lamborghini, yeah, that's cool, but I'm about the rare muscle car stuff.
Yeah.
So, like last week, a 1 of 24 Pontiac Turbo Trans Am with a hard top. So those are the type of things that are really cool to me to get into, something that's one of something. But further than that, as far as memorable, the Ring Brothers cars, if any of you guys are familiar with those,
Yes.
polished some of those at SEMA. One of them won Best of Show. That's the stuff that stands out to me as memorable, but that is where for me, the detail really stands out when you look at those cars, all carbon fiber, that type of thing. So that's the memorable stuff for me as opposed to an exotic or what have you.
Or a chicken truck.
Right. Well, a chicken truck sounds pretty cool. You got pictures? Or-
I used to, but they're long.
Got an article?
They're long.
There's an article somewhere.
Yeah.
I have mentioned it in the internet world.
But there's also, stuff like he mentions, I had somebody with a kind of a rare car. I won't say too much because a lot of us have similar circles, but something was smashed into a rare car into a door, and the car was being picked up the following day, so I had to go down there, and it was ceramic coated and certain things like that. So there's memories of just certain little things that we do on special cars.
And
stand
things
out.
that don't go right.
Yeah, exactly.
What about you, Marcus? What do you think?
It's kind of hard to top some of that stuff.
What's the biggest thing that you've ever detailed and coated?
The biggest thing?
Yeah, because I know you guys have done some big.
We've
planes
done.
and-
Yeah, we've done some big projects. The biggest project that I had was during the Indy 500 a couple of years ago. We got invited by the Andretti's to come up and take care of their fleet of race cars that were going out to race that weekend. And that we got to bring a few of our installers from the local area in and jump in and do that. And it was,
Did they win that year?
that was the most incredible. I don't even remember.
I was going to say it might be because you
Yeah, the
less
surface was
airflow.
Yeah, yeah.
I have an antique bottle of wax in my office that says increases ETs.
Right. Well, that was a selling pitch, though.
I can imagine. If it's good enough for Indy, it's good enough for you.
Actually, I think I
It
got
us
two
to
different
Gasoline
bottles.
Alley.
That's cool. Now, let me ask another question. IGL, I'm going to start with IGL. Since you guys are big into all the chemicals and everything like that, have you guys started dabbling in the graphene yet? Is there any things where you're coming that way, since that's kind of an industry buzzword right now? Or
Yeah.
sorry to put you on the spot.
No worries. We've been playing with the technology for quite a while.
Okay. That's all that he's at liberty to say, people.
Yeah. We have a product out. We have a couple of products out, and there's getting ready to be another product come out that are essences of graphene.
I
and
like that.
I'm just going to listen. This
I like
whole-
that. Yeah.
Well, a lot of us, I've seen on various videos and all the interviews and the people going crazy, and it can't be done, it can be done, it can't be done. Well, anything can be done. Look at where technology is.
Hey, we just landed on Mars again today. We did, literally.
Really?
Yeah. You guys didn't know that? Am I like the only geek here in the room?
Mars?
Yeah, we landed on Mars. We dropped down another rover and actually has a drone this time.
Nice.
Oh, I saw that. I did see that. Yeah.
But yeah, the graphene market is kind of like in the old days. Remember BASF? We don't make your XYZ, whatever it
We
is.
make
we
the
make-
product that goes into
We
it.
just make it better.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
And so it's just kind of a
So
little
I like
split.
when you say the essence of it. When I was a kid growing up, one time my mom made a big old pot of clam chowder. And me and my brother were eating this clam chowder, and we're like looking for the clams. There's a lot of potatoes, and there's like 2 clams, and so we called it essence of clam chowder.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
It wasn't real clam chowder.
We're thinking about adding graphene into polishers. That sells a lot right now, right?
Yeah.
Is that the
Or
word?
lubrication, right?
Lubricating
works.
grease.
Lubrication.
It works.
Now, I know, Beasley, you have a new one that's out right now, the LS10.
I
and
have
so
it.
forth.
You
Can
can walk
you,
over there and grab it.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I know it's kind of a buzzword right now on a lot of the social media sites and stuff. People are asking about
So
that.
LS10 is a multi-surface ceramic coating for your vehicle.
And it's sheeting, not
Shade.
water.
So
bead.
LS stands for low sliding angle. I've never been about the beads. I hate beads. I hate when those sit on cars because they just make spots when it dries up. So at a low slide, I want a low sliding angle, and I want the water to come together, roll off. Then you can drop a tissue on it, and it's dry. That's the goal of this. And I've always been a person who a coating is for this substrate, a coating for this substrate, a coating for this, and that's optimal durability. We're able to get really good durability, low sliding angle, and it is a solvent-based coating.
Where are you going, Mike?
I'm
Sorry.
going, he's going to
this
his
way.
office like he said he
Oh,
It's
he
something
wants
to
us to do the
do.
class.
all right. Mike wandered off, so
We can do what we want now,
yeah,
right?
we can talk bad about him. I can hear
Yeah.
everything he says, but he can't hear us.
There you go.
Now, Jason, we just had you on last week?
A week or two,
Week
yes.
or two ago, and you have a new pad washing system. Is there anything else coming out that Lake Country is going to be having out?
We've got the pad washer for Lake Country on the LC Power Tools. We just introduced a backpack, which I think we had that on the episode
Yes.
as well. And
Actually,
also
I think Mike
I'll-
just brought it out right now. Tell you the
Here,
truth.
show and tell.
Sure.
There you go.
Sure.
Jew.
Deja
There's
vu.
something for
But
you,
yeah.
Marcus.
But this is one neat product that we just came out with that's dedicated really for a detailer. This is not just an off-the-shelf backpack. This was designed by us based on some market feedback on what would you want in a bag. Everything out there, I know even for myself, I grab an old duffel bag and carry my polisher, and sometimes I got to carry two, and sometimes my polisher doesn't fit in that duffel bag and what have you. So this is designed to be able to be carried on your back to distribute the weight.
Hence the name backpack.
Yep, backpack. But Yancy,
quick,
it
you're
does
quick.
have a handle for standard carry.
Look at that.
Okay,
look
smart
at
guy. We got
Are you sure that's not for lifting up onto your back?
that as well. Thank you.
I just want to say when they gave Bob Eichelberg gave me this when they first introduced it, and the first thing this is the most well-designed backpack I've seen in my entire life. It is so well thought out.
Yeah, and again, there was some thought in here. This isn't an off-the-shelf bag. So it's got a solid hard bottom. So one for if you drop it, it's going to protect your tools. I know we pack a lot of money in tools. One to protect the tool, but also so that it stands up. But additionally, all kinds of pockets. Pads, you want to put your brushes in here, your LED spotlight and so forth. Little dedicated pockets for your cell phone or what have you, tablets. More additional pockets for cell phones. But in the main compartment, as we go back here,
We'll find Hoffa.
this would be your main area for your polishers. This will hold 2 full-size polishers on each side and also an additional 3-inch. And we don't discriminate. You want to put a flex polisher in there or what have you.
Well, I see Marcus. He's sitting there eyeing that up. He's like, that's a pretty nice little backpack.
With your Unos. So really designed for everything all in one. I've carried these with 3 polishers, 3 bottles of compound. I mean, it'll get heavy because you're going to put a lot of stuff in there, but it's very easy to carry and get
Padded
you
back here.
Padded
Nice.
on the straps.
And
padded in the
non-sweat.
back.
It's that mesh material.
Right.
So it's not all sweaty.
Reduce sweat and produce airflow.
Airflow? We're going to be skydiving with this. All right, now let's.
we have had questions like that.
Oh,
So.
I wouldn't doubt it. Detailers, we're like an all different group of people here.
Anybody watching this has been to SEMA. You see, like anybody that's a veteran of SEMA, or you got backpacks because you walk so much. You can't carry it like this. You've got to have a backpack.
There's also a NOS holder on the side.
NOS,
So
I like how you-
did,
how you-
yeah. So
thank
we
you.
have listened.
All right, thank you. Now, if there's more detail on that, on a past video that we just did, plus a new pad washer, and Mike and I, we just did a video for my classic car for the LS10. Then IGL, you were actually on this weekend. We're highlighting your polycoat this weekend.
Aha.
So that will be
I
on
have that
my
right here. How about
On my classic car at 8:30. Dun, dun. Oh, let me get that up.
It's just, yeah, I'm a props guy, so as soon as we got one thing out here, I got to be an equal opportunity exploiter. We're going to make sure everybody's got a toy. Chris, what's your favorite toy in the Flex line?
The PXE80.
Okay, it's the
still a great
easiest to
unit.
carry.
There he goes. He's off. Now,
Off to get
while
it.
he's off to get that tool, is there any new things coming out of the Flex world?
I think we'll see some things towards the end of the year, more around SEMA timeframe.
If there's SEMA, hopefully there's SEMA.
Yeah, I mean, I hope there's SEMA. We've got a couple other shows coming up. The Southern Detail Conference, that's I think scheduled. You guys are actively involved in that. All of us are.
It's coming up in June.
So we're all excited about hopefully coming together as a group. So
Yeah, looking forward to that, going to Kentucky,
yeah,
hanging out with a bunch of
I
gearheads.
think it'll be a
Hey, now.
good
Polish heads.
interesting show.
Isn't that
Hey,
where
Robert?
you came from, Marcus? Is Kentucky?
That is
Could you
where I came
keep an
from.
eye on the door
Absolutely.
out there for a guy bringing a truck in? It'd be
Mike's
on a
so
car
worried
hauler.
about these trucks and cars.
Yeah, I keep thinking I might
Focus.
show up. Yeah.
Focus right here. On me.
Okay.
That's a semi, not your truck.
Okay.
All right, now let's see here. Let's do one more round of questions. All right, all of us here have been out to SEMA. What is one thing, like if somebody asked you what SEMA is like, what would you say? What would you tell that person? Keep it clean. Keep it nice. Like
so many
if-
things come to mind. So
It is Las Vegas.
It is well, yeah. Well, there's that part. But if, say somebody wants to go, they don't know what SEMA is. What would you tell them SEMA would be?
Well, I'll go first. For me, it's I know a lot of people would just say, well, make sure you wear comfortable shoes because you do a lot of walking.
100%.
But to me, it's the networking, catching up with people that you live in other states and other countries. But at SEMA, everybody comes together for like 4 days, and it's really just a chance to visit with somebody, catch up, and make contact person to person instead of over the internet or a phone or something. So it's the connectivity, the networking.
All right. Who else wants to answer?
I mean, I just tack on to that. Networking. A lot of people are worried about passing their trade secrets on to their partnering or their neighbor, competitor. But at SEMA, I feel like that's different. When we're all together, the detail market, spreads everywhere, and everybody comes together in one place, and we sit down, we have drinks at dinner or whatever, and we're talking, and people start sharing stuff about their businesses that you wouldn't normally share with your competitor, and I think that's interesting. But just
The
SEMA
camaraderie, then?
Yeah,
You would say that?
Yeah, definitely.
So
it
tell you
brings
what,
the
you
group
guys
together.
carry on. Let me go see my truck real quick.
Oh, no. Mike has left the building again. Hey,
You're in charge.
One
Jim.
thing, one thing I want to say about SEMA, and I agree with what was said so far. I mean, there's a lot of booths, a lot of cars, a lot of actions. Cars are being driven. Everything you think about cars are there, and there's new product showcase and everything. The most rewarding thing that I see when I go to SEMA, is actually after hours. In those, when you're meeting with other people at private events, private clubs, everything, that's where you learn a lot. There's a lot on the floor, but the real stuff is off
behind
the floor.
scenes. Yes, it
yeah,
is.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and actually, what do you call it? Michael Neal, he's my little Mopar buddy. Disneyland for car guys is what he calls SEMA.
Oh,
that's
for
good.
sure.
It is. It's all things cars. The networking is key. The one thing that I tell everybody, every class that I travel to, they ask me if I could go to one show. And I want to go to SDC, or I want to go to MTE, or I want to go SEMA. All the others will fall in line, but you go to SEMA and you'll see a bump in your business.
I would say SEMA though is all about the networking and visiting our booths as manufacturers. The smaller shows though have more education out of them.
Right,
Yes.
exactly.
I
Yeah,
think
they're
that's, some people
totally
come to
different
SEMA and they're like, "Oh, you told me I should come to SEMA," and then they're like, "I haven't had any classes," and I'm like, "Well, there's not the
Really?
type of class, there's not
It's
as many
not that.
classes. There's
It's
not."
You have to, SEMA builds you as a person.
Yeah.
Whereas you can build as a detailer or as a mechanic or whatever in a class, but SEMA, you learn to, hey, I got to get out of my shell. I got to talk to people. I got to shake hands. I got to do all this stuff, catch the SEMA flu.
SEMA, out of all the years, I've never gotten sick from being there. So knock on wood, somewhere, wherever that's at. Yeah, I have your mic off.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
What?
Well, I'm just looking to see how easy.
Hey, I'll share one more. I'll share
Mike's
one more
over here
thing.
behind me, like checking up on me, like I'm not doing something.
I did something, Yancy, 2 years ago at SEMA, or now it's 3 years ago, but something I thought was really cool that I've never done was Friday night, where I don't know if you guys have ever been to after hours on Friday night when everybody drives their cars out
Yeah,
and
SEMA
there's a
Ignited.
huge line.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. I mean, we got a little beer between our group. We sat there, we looked at all the cars, we talked about all the cars. People
That'd be
hot rodding them a
wheat-flavored
little bit.
water.
That's one of those things, if you've never been, you have to stay for that little extra time and leave on Saturday, stay for that Friday night event. I thought that was really cool.
So I want to give a little update here. One of the vehicles for my class this weekend has arrived on a car hauling trailer. It's a 1989 Ford F-150, totally neglected.
It's rare.
Totally not rare, but it's totally neglected. And one of the, I teach multiple class sessions in the class. One of them is how to use the rotary buffer. And so we're going to be using learning the rotary on 2 trucks. This is one of them, but I need to go out and help them to unload it. And I've been told that the batteries did, so I may have to push it into a parking space. And the parking space I want to put it in is where that 1989 Dodge Ram is sitting right now.
So what are you trying to tell me?
I'm trying to tell you that these guys are all on your own.
So in other words, you're leaving.
Yeah, I just need to take care of this because, we got people flying in for this class
This is the joy of live TV, people.
We can just pan the camera. We can
I
see
got-
what Mike is doing with that car.
Yeah, no, too
You
bad I
see him in
didn't.
action.
I could have had the wireless going on, and then we could just like follow you out there. All right, so here, you're off. All right, go do you.
Are there any interesting questions that people have?
That's what I'm getting to. Since Mike took off, we are
That's a nice
going.
bag, bud.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
You've been eyeballing that ever since I brought it out. I've been watching you. I've been watching you.
Yeah, you don't mind. Y'all go ahead.
I've used mine plenty.
Okay, let's go back through some of these comments. We have a lot of people saying hello. Functional dock. First, Puerto Rico has weather, my friend. Is this live? Yes, I'm sorry for the audio. I accidentally hit the mute button on the beginning, so that would have been my bad.
He gets paid to do this?
I get paid to do this, and it's
Well, he hears
amazing.
me too.
He wired you.
Oh, they wanted you to do sign language. Boom, fixed there. Right. Hold on, I'm reading through you guys' comments here really fast. So, wow, yep, I know. I'm sorry, sound. I'm so sorry. Okay, we already went through all that. Oh, Mike's dates of the second day indie training. I don't know if we've got those. Actually, let me get that out. Mike is having another class, boat class in April, I do believe, and I know that there are talks about us having a 2-day class up in Indy. I don't know if those have been announced yet or if they've been finalized, so stay tuned here. I will find the answer and I'll post it in the comments down below. Old School Detailing LLC, thank you for the shout out. Does anybody know Old School Detailing LLC? I don't know who.
Well, I mentioned old school, so.
Oh, that might have been. Big old dog, he wants the Corvette. Yeah, well, Mike just gave it to me. Actually, his brother-in-law just gave it to me. Orlando traffic is awful. Yes, it is.
Just came from there. I could have given you a ride.
Were you?
Yeah.
Hold on. I am getting through. Oh, yeah, we have Rod Kraft. He is going to be here tomorrow for the class. So he was just taking off. Maybe, hopefully. Okay, this is a funny one. Is it a group of detailers or is it a basketball team?
Obviously, I'm the point guard.
I thought you were the center.
Yeah.
Okay. So this must have been going back to when we were talking about how the industry changed. When we were talking about, you noticed that the people were going to smaller pads and so forth. Big Old Dog says people also want to get added cut out of a smaller pad RDAs. Is that pretty much a trend that people are seeing, that you guys are seeing out there, or?
Added cut?
Added cut, maybe because it allows more motion of the polisher.
Well, I mean, all of our polishers today, we're asking you to keep them more flat to the surface, where a lot of the old school polishers, you're riding edge when you're doing that cut. So, I mean, you know more about that with the pads.
No, I would agree, and it's funny how the aggressiveness changes, and we have certain foams for bigger pads, but we have different foams for smaller pads, because you can make it a very aggressive small pad, but if you throw that on a larger, say a 6-inch, 7 or 8-inch, it's not going to rotate. It's going to be too aggressive. So they are designed specifically for those type of polishers.
Yeah, because I remember pads, when I first started at Geek like 18 years ago, I mean, they're like a good 2 inches thick,
Yeah.
and now they're like maybe a half-inch thick.
But that comment's also important to think. I get a lot of questions about, hey, I have this pad, the machine's not acting right for me, and it all comes down to the right pad. So talking to a manufacturer of the pad or calling someone like Autogeek and asking what pad works best with what machine or what chemical, you know, I mean, those combinations make a big deal, and being able to call someone like Autogeek to find that information out is important.
Yeah, there was a lot to that. Like you were saying, Yancy, you know, they were thick. So all they were doing was cutting large pads and making them smaller. But there's a lot of technology in the taper of the pad, what we call the bevel of the pad to the face, that affects the rotation. And now we're starting to see all kinds of different small polishers, you know, free spinning DA, rotary, like this one here. It's got different orbits that you can put into it. And you may find a little bit different results on different pads.
Then different, the actual, I know that they used to have like the foamed wool. You guys still have the foamed wool, correct?
Yes. Yep.
You know, and that's what, a good inch thick?
The foam, well, we have a couple different polites. We actually have it all the way down to a 1/4 inch.
Do you, all right, because I remember the purple foam one is one that
Yeah.
I'm thinking of. You know,
Yep.
it was a good, like an inch.
1/4 inch, 3/4, and 1 inch on the
And
purple
now
foam
your
mold.
new ones that you have out for the Udos, that pad's
Short,
really short.
Short 1/4 inch pile. Yep.
Yeah. All right, these classes are a great way to take out all the, you know, try out all the tools. Yes, it is. If you have any doubts about anything, what do you call it? This is a cool place to come to do that. I am smiling, Robert. They're keeping me on my toes back behind here today. We answered that one. Marcus. Oh, Marcus is from IGL.
Yes.
And what exactly is your title?
I am the vice president.
Oh, you the man. You are. Oh,
Yeah. Okay, you can stand back up.
I can stand back up. Awesome. We have the VP in the house. I feel special now. Do you guys know who Matt Mormon is?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're
Obsessed
saying that
Garage.
we need to get him on here. Barry says we need to get him on here.
Obsessed Garage.
Obsessed Garage. Oh, okay. Matt. Oh, okay. I know who he is. I just know Matt from All September. You know the best cars in the rent, direct SEMA. If you're talking about the shelf that they're standing on right now, that is actually a Craftsman workbench. Don Weagle, he has a cool car. This is when you guys were talking about what cool projects you guys worked on. For him, it was a 1929 Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost, Pebble Beach winner.
Wow.
That's a car.
That is.
Don's been around a while.
All right. Question for you, Dr. B. Dr. Beasley, LS10. What's a good maintenance product to keep up on LS10? Spray, detail spray, or dry aid that has similar hydrophilic properties?
That's a really good question. If you want to keep the hydrophilic properties, this is priced pretty well, so I just apply this again. We do have advanced coat gloss, but it has a higher sliding angle than this. I just reapply this. It goes a long way, and this bottle retails for $30. So I just reapply.
About how
that.
many, you say, an average car? About how many cars could you get?
Depends how liberal you are with the spraying. And use less on glass. It'll protect glass, but you don't want to use as much on there. I think 3 ounces is about where you're at.
Okay.
So this is 12 ounces, about 4 cars.
All right, now we're going. Sorry, I didn't mean to speak right into the mic. Question for Flex: any new products coming near in the future? I think I just answered that. Sorry, but what do you call it?
Yeah, I mean, I would stay focused on SEMA time frame and you know, feel good about seeing some new things at SEMA this year.
Okay.
So definitely come by our booth if we're there.
All right. Here's a follow-up to the LS10, LS Nano. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I always figured that. Nano LS10.
All right.
It's called LS10.
Are there any drawbacks on that, like water spots, or does it pretty much help get rid of it?
No, it depends. I think drawbacks on this product.
He's going to say no because he
I
makes
have
it.
to say no. I'm searching. It's a good question. I like to have drawbacks. There are drawbacks to this. Not I can think of off the top of my head. It's solvent based. Is that a drawback? But it's a high flash solvent, so we can ship this anywhere. Doesn't have those issues. Doesn't have alcohol in it. But it's a friendly solvent, and it goes on really smooth.
Okay.
But I can't think of a disadvantage right now.
All right, we got Bob Myers, great group of professionals and cool cars, Mike. Kudos. I don't know what polisher you were talking about, Contra. I've been eyeing that polisher for a long time to order it. I don't remember what we were talking about.
Maybe the one
Dixie?
sitting on the table.
Well, no, he was talking about the Udos also earlier, so I honestly I don't remember. This is actually a cool little question. Never really even thought about this. Question for the Flex rep. Is there any particular reason why your gear-driven orbitals rotate counterclockwise when most traditional polishers rotate clockwise?
Well, that was the original.
I like how
You know,
Marcus
I-
picked up on that one.
It's it's the original design. It's been around for a long time. I would ask the question, what is the right way? We consider clockwise the right way because that's the way the clock turns. But which way is the right
Depends
way?
on what side of the equator you're at.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the Flex unit, I've never actually gotten that answer from the engineers. The bottom line, the way the mechanics on the inside work, I think that's one of the reasons you don't see a lot of knockoffs of our unit, is because no one's been able to actually figure out how that mechanism works on the inside. There's been some that have cloned it close, but whenever you talk to someone that has that, it works for one project and they have to get rid of it.
Okay.
I know a lot of people in here and a lot of people probably watching this have a 3401 or the Beast in their arsenal. I talked to a guy yesterday. We get into his unit being broken. We get into him getting it repaired. When it comes down to it, he's had it for like 9 years. And
I still have my original one from the year
I'm
that it
like,
came out.
I thought he was going after a warranty claim or something like that. And he's like, well, I've had it for 9 years. I'm just thinking about what do I need to do to freshen it up. I'm like, well, that's pretty good. Buy a new polisher.
I've got a nice
Just kidding.
reason why Flex has those turn left, and because I'm a fan of that particular machine, and I share it with classes. It's completely my scripted whatever, but they all love the answer, and it works. I can share it with you later. I don't know if you want me to.
No, I mean, the bottom line, that reversed action, I don't know if this is what you're talking about or the angle you're going, but a lot of guys that get good with the machine, they edge with it, and they heat that clear up and they move the clear. They literally, you get that where it's resisting and you pull back on it. And if you've ever pulled back on the Flex when you do that and then you feel the surface, it gets extremely hot.
Don't practice this at home,
Yeah,
people, unless
I
you're
mean, it's
really,
not,
really good.
it is something you want to,
These are advanced
you want to do on my
techniques.
rental car in a class like this.
Yeah, exactly. Well, alrighty. You can float paint, literally.
Literally.
Daryl Lyons, thank you for mentioning the Southern Details Conference. We will be there.
Thanks for watching.
I'm not sure that will carry my standard load on the job. Oh, wow, okay. Let's see this. Anthony Mark, I'm not sure that backpack will carry my standard load out when I'm on a job. However, it would be extremely handy when heading out on a motorcycle to help someone. I would carry that like I need.
They could buy more than one.
What was he concerned that it won't?
No, it holds a lot. I mean, it's 3 polishers, pads.
Look at it next to Jim, and that gives you a proportion of the size. So
Yeah, he's a big guy.
As big as my gut.
I think when I brought the one in 2 weeks ago, I had a Flex 3401, I had our Udos, and I actually had my own personal PXE 80 in there. So, and again, I had 3 32 ounces of polishes. It was heavy. But
How many pads did you have in there? Or did you have that in something else?
I jammed a few in there just to have, but I think with everything I had in there, between all my lights and everything else, the bag was over 30 pounds. So,
Yeah. Oh, this one's funny. Neil White. For fun, you guys should have a class to detail a garbage truck. You will be the person here attending that one, and you will be the one that will be sitting back with this on our nose watching you do it.
didn't Mike Rowe have an episode on that? Maybe I don't.
The dirty job.
I've seen some bad stuff with garbage trucks. So
How to do the interior of a garbage truck.
you need your hand sanitizer. That's what we need.
Oh, here's one for you, Jason. We have Alex coming on the broadcast. Ask Jason Brandon, what sauce does he recommend using on the new Udo pads?
I'm pretty neutral on that because I do use a lot of different products. I know why that's being asked. That's kind of an inside.
Alex Russell?
Yes.
Thank you, Alex. He's turning all sorts of red right now.
I'll answer that with Bruno sauce. How's that one?
With Bruno sauce? Okay.
Oh, Lord.
I don't even want to know where that's going. Don Weagle's asking a question. Graphene in Kenzo compared to SPS graphene.
2 different formulas.
2 different formulas? Okay.
Completely different.
Okay. There you go. They answered that. This going to you, Chris. For the PXE, where do we find the glue arm pads or size for that one plate?
You're talking about the sticky pads, the 1-inch.
I would say so.
I mean, if you want to reach out to me, I have a company that does sell them.
Okay.
ASAP Abrasives.
Okay.
You know, in Cincinnati, Ohio, he has them. There are a lot of those sticky abrasives really come out of the body shop market, and you know, Autogeek or some of the other companies in the detail industry, they don't have a lot of the body shop. Yeah.
Oh, are you back?
I'm back.
So I can turn you back on now?
Yeah, the truck's on. The truck's here.
Okay.
But I will tell you, I think 3M, these were originally designed for what are, like, they come on those rolls,
Yeah.
those sticky rolls. 3M, I don't know if 3M still makes them or they're hard to find. Honestly, Rupes has them.
Yeah, I have a
and they're-
Rupes one
Yeah.
here.
So,
Best.
Rupes.
you know, I mean, they are available. I think
Okay.
they're maybe just not as available in the detail market.
All right. Nope, we can always look that up. Go to a body shop. I mean, a PB store.
Yeah, that's where I would recommend.
All right, let's go here. Alex Pinera, where are you from, Yancy? I'm from Wyoming originally. I'm from cowboy country. And I'm not going back. That's
Not till
I
spring.
seen negative 77 degrees. It was 35 below with wind chill. It was negative 77 degrees, and I decided to leave. And Bob showed me Omaha's negative 20, so that's why Bob's here in Florida right now.
Matador, I think.
Oh, Marcus, the best down-to-earth VP.
Oh,
Kudos to you. He was. He
wanna
came in here just like, hey.
You want to show that? I don't know if you
What
need
do
to scroll in or
oh,
I
here,
can come
zoom
closer.
in. Hold on.
So it's keep my hand in the same
Yeah,
spot.
it's just
but,
adhesive and sticks
you know,
right
it's just
on
an
there.
adhesive pad. They're waffle shaped. They typically come on like a roll. I know I've seen them on eBay.
Different grids.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different grits. I will say be careful with this though. In the rotary setting, you would want to use it on the lowest setting. It's going to remove a lot.
Yeah,
quick.
that's called grinding.
Yeah.
right.
Oh,
it's hot out there.
Here's a good question. Richard is asking this question. Now that the Flex PXE80 has been out on the market for over a year, has there been any feedback which you are aware that could improve the PXE in future model?
Well-
Such as the on-off switch. I guess people don't like
Some
the
people
on-off.
don't like the on-off switch. Once you get used to it, it's really not that big a deal. It's that rolling rocker
But
switch.
also, you have to. They have to build it like that because they sell to a global market, and that's code for the EU, right?
We call it a drop test method. It's from waist high. If you drop it, the tool turns off. Don't do it with your polisher.
Yeah,
But,
but that's mandatory in the European Union.
It is.
Yeah,
it
so
is.
they have to make it for over there. They're not going to make two styles just because over here in America we're lazy and we want a simple switch. So they make one style. Just you got to get used to it.
You know, the bottom line, what could we have different for this unit? Everybody's asking for a 2-inch pad. I think that was originally asked.
Pad or
2-inch backing
plate?
A 2-inch backing plate that you can use a 2-inch Velcro on. I've had some comments that they feel they need. Everybody has their issues with stuff, but some people feel between speed 3 and speed 4, they want an optimal RPM in between there. So maybe get rid of speed 1, but give you more options as far as the speed control. But
There you go.
It's called evolution. It'll go
yeah,
through an evolution.
things change. Yeah. Over
All right,
time.
let's go here. Contra is coming in. Thanks, Beasley. Follow question to what are we supposed to look out for to avoid after applying the Nano LS10? Is there any things that you look out for? Do you got to let it cure for a little while? Do you not
Ice
want to get
box.
it
It's going to
wet?
bond right away. I wouldn't. I'd leave it alone for a half hour, and then you're good to go.
What about if you get a high spot?
No, don't worry about high spot. It'll level itself. No
Okay.
issue. Easiest thing.
Here, let me.
Easiest-
I've used it. It spreads on just like a spray-on detailer. You know, it spreads on, spread around, wipe it off, and it leaves the surface feeling incredibly slippery. It's tactical. You can tell like that. I can't set my finger, so
Here, you ready?
yeah. There you go.
Here, one more time. You do it again.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a very nice feel to it.
All right, Ryan St. Clair, the legend himself, Marcus. You like, you.
I paid people to.
Is that what it was? You paid people? Okay, I guess this could be for all of you guys. Actually, only 2 of you guys, because the other 2 really don't make chemicals. Contra coming again. Also, which products has UV paint protection? Let's go with IGL. Any of your guys' products have UV? Which ones?
Headlight.
Headlight? All right. And do you have any UV protection
Oh, for headlights?
No, he
for
just
anything.
for
Anything.
paint.
Well, most nanotechnology products are UV protection on the structure. Based on the structure that's on your paint, it protects the paint with UV.
Okay.
It reflects differently.
And let me just talk to that point. What's most important, besides looking for a product that adds UV protection, is just to take care of the paint you already have that has the UV protection in it from the paint manufacturer.
Okay.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
just take care of the paint. So that kind of goes back to like when you do a test spot and you use the least aggressive product to get the job done. The goal is to always, when you're doing paint correction, to remove the swirls and scratches using the least aggressive product, so you leave the most paint on the car so it can endure over the service life of the mechanicals of the car. I mean, nowadays cars will go 200, 300,000 miles, but the paint can't hold up that long. So if you don't do crazy things like compounding and sanding factory thin clear coats, the paint's going to have a better chance of lasting longer with the UV protection that came in the paint itself, instead of trying to rely on an outside company to give you something to put on it. Make sense?
That's why you mentioned your headlight has the UV, because you're removing that typically when you sand that headlight, and you're adding something that gives
Absolutely.
it.
All right, got a question for you, Jason. Is Lake Country making applicator pads for any of the coating systems as a universal pad, even though kits come with applicators, obviously, or is it specific to each company?
Currently, we do not, no. And part of that is because every company wants something a little bit different, so it's harder to kind of make a universal product. We get specific requests, just like we were talking about the tool, everybody has a preference. So, and most of the manufacturers have their own applicators that they recommend. So, we do not currently.
Okay. Let's go to you, Marcus. IGL, is there a consumer graphene coating? If yes, which? Thank you in advance. Yes.
Eczema.
Oh, coming soon. Stay
Actually,
tuned.
sooner than that. It's
Yeah.
like the last time I was here.
Yeah.
We kind of dropped a bomb on them, by letting them know that this was happening.
We don't want to get
So-
Marcus in trouble, so just stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay
Stay
tuned.
tuned.
Stay tuned.
All right. Cool. All
But
right.
IGL makes top quality stuff. I mean, everything you guys make is just top shelf.
Okay, let's go here. Chris Cantu, what up? Mike Yancy and the fam. Hi. What's up? Then, we have first from Puerto Rico. As a parenthesis, just to let you know, Perseverance just reached Mars. So while we were talking, it landed. See? I'm not the only geek here. All right, let's go over the seas here. Hello from Slovakia. Question to Flex. I have 3 machines from you. Great machines, XFE7, PXE80, and the VRG 3401. New XE10 is similar for 3401. Did you stop produce the 3401?
In certain parts of the world, yes, the 3401 is no longer being sold.
And it's now the Super Beast.
It is now the XCE 10-8.
All right.
It makes the exact same motion, counterclockwise, 8 millimeter throw. Really, in the new design, Mike and I have had many videos on this, so look it up on YouTube. But you basically, the biggest difference is in the handle is built into the unit, which was not a downfall, but if you dropped the original Beast, you broke the handle. Now it's built into the head of the unit. The aluminum housing, when you touch that on the original version, it gets extremely hot just because of the movement of the parts in there. Now it's encased, and you have air baffles that move the air across that aluminum housing. The backing plate itself now has 3 points, which a lot of people don't talk a lot about, but you now have 3 points where that backing plate is on there. Whereas if you have one in that backing plate, you have movement like this. But with those 3 points that the engineers
Stable.
designed, gives you much more stable backing plate, and those are the real differences.
And it's smoother, cooler, quieter, and lighter.
There's 4 points that he
Can you
always
tell that we
points
just
out.
did a video about this not too long ago?
We sure did.
Stay tuned to My Classic Car. It will be on. Okay, now let's go here. I just have to put this one on because I think this is hilarious. Matt Duffy comes in. Marcus looks like James Hetfield from Metallica. Seems like a down-to-earth guy.
Come on, play a little riff.
A little Sandman.
And I understand, man, here. Okay, and I'm going to end it on this one because I think Contra's kind of been picking your brain, Dr. B, throughout this entire show, and I think now's the issue that's coming out, and I think this comes across a lot across the forums and also social media, The issue encountered was clear coat failure and looking into coatings till the car gets cleared again. That I'm seeing a lot of people are at least on Detailing 101 where I hang out. Mike, you probably get it all the time on the forum, where people think that coatings are cures for failing clear coat. So I'm turning this over to you guys. So have fun.
No, there's no cure. There's no cure for failing clear coat.
Needs to be resanded and repainted or re-cleared.
You know, a lot of people do one of two things. Here's what the real crux of the issue is. Kind of like I was saying below previously, a lot of cars, take a Honda or a Toyota, you can get 300,000 miles out of that thing. The clear coat, the paint will fail first. So now you're stuck with a car that mechanically is sound and runs great, but it looks horrible. You know, you're kind of embarrassed to get into it. Then you go price out a new paint job, and it's more than it's worth for the value of the car. So what people do is there's one of two things. There's called the Rust-Oleum roll-on. Okay, you roll on a coat of paint. You just got to sand it down. Just Google that, and there's a lot of guys that do that. And you know, here's the deal: if you put on a good thick layer of indoor-outdoor enamel paint, and then learn how to sand it and buff it, it'll look like a factory finish because you're going to sand out the brush strokes and smooth it out. I've done it and I've seen it. But you know, you got to apply yourself to do it. The other thing is you can put a vinyl wrap on it. You know, just go down and put a white vinyl wrap on the tops or black and try to make it look like you were actually trying to do it to make it look cool. When the real problem is the clear coat's gone and you just want to pay for a paint job.
There's your answer, people. Once it's gone, it's gone.
Or Mako.
Or Mako. Oh, better call Mako. Wow. All right. So with that being said, and let me bring myself.
Or Plastidip. Even that's another popular way to cover something up is Rust-Oleum Plastidip.
That is true.
And then you can squeeze out, you know, a few more years driving a car that isn't quite ugly but still mechanically sound. Here's what I see most people do. Once the clear coat goes, they just trade it in. And then usually if
someone else's problem.
Yeah, if they do the same thing they did to cause it to the first car, now it's just going to happen again. And that's what Autogeek's all about. We sell all the products to help you take care of that finish so you don't get clear coat failure. But you have to have some initiative. You got to do something.
All right. We have Matthew Gibb telling us hi from Australia. Then we have one more. No, I'm not going to go into that one. I see where you're. No. All right, let's go here. One more from Slovakia here. Second question for Flex. Do you plan on to produce any smaller machine as a PXE10, something like a Rupid hybrid? And two Beasley products, are they really good working and smelling? I bought all of them, but this mark is not very known in Europe. Oh, your brand.
It's a brand.
All right, I was like, Mark, what Mark?
Trademark.
Any other plan for bigger popularization in Europe? So let's go with Flex first. Are you guys going to be making any smaller tools?
I would just say that the roadmap has a lot of new tools on it, and stay tuned.
All right, then that answers another one because people are asking about prosumer and consumer line tools, so that probably answered that one.
Yep.
And Dr. B, any
we have a
broadening your
distributor
horizons?
in the UK, and they sell to Belgium, and they sell to different areas. We sell in Germany also.
What's their
We're
name?
not big, we're small. Lintech?
Lintech.
Lintech sells our products. And did they say something about good smelling or something? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't put a lot of scent and different things in my products. You don't need. It's one of those things you don't need. I don't like to put a lot of dyes. I want high performance. I don't need the color. I don't need the smells.
Function over form.
Absolutely.
All right, now with that being said, let's just go down the line. So if anybody wants to reach out to you, Marcus, how could people find you and say they want to talk to you or follow more about your products?
Papa Detail on Instagram, Facebook, and you just use my phone number, 606-231-1404.
There
It's on the
you-
bottom of the screen.
All right, what about you, Jason?
Jason.Brennan at lakecountry.mfg.com.
And Jason Bruno just came on,
Oh, no.
and he goes, what was the answer from Jason about what sauce he recommends with
That
the
was
new oodles?
Bruno sauce, that's right.
All right. What about you, Mike? Everybody knows where to find Mike. What about you, Mr. Jim?
Yeah, just email me, Jim at Dr. Beasley's, DrBeasley's.com.
All right, and last but not least, what about you, Chris?
You can email me at cmetcalf@flexnorthamerica.com, or honestly reach out on social media. Either on our Flex page, I answer all those questions, or just my personal Flex page.
Yeah, you all have Facebook pages
Yeah,
and stuff.
we're
so-
active on social media. I think all of us are, and just reach out. We'll answer your question. So.
I want to get away from high-tech social media and go back to like smoke signals.
I was going to go with give you a chisel and a tablet. It's about how fast it
How
takes
to
you to do things.
papyrus roll?
Oh, papyrus. Let's bring that back, yo. All right. So with that being said, we are going to wrap it up. And like always, I appreciate each and every one of you that have tuned in, the ones that stayed all the way through, and everyone that's been bouncing back and forth. And like always, there's a replay on YouTube and on Facebook.
And next week, we're
And-
going to be...
What are we doing next week?
I'm going to take a guess at this, that there's a good chance that some of the cars that'll be in the class this weekend may not be completely finished, especially the wet sanding projects. And usually what I do is I finish them out the next week. So we may have a 37 Ford here or that 63 Fury
Okay.
here. And we'll do something with that.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
it's not an issue. It's just
So it's
before I
class-
give it back to the owner, it's got to be right.
Yeah, no, that's one thing. We do make sure that everybody's cars are in tip-top and immaculate condition.
This
when
is
they
a
go.
learning exercise. You can't take somebody that's never wet sanded by hand or machine and make them an expert in one day. So
Oh, you're not that good of a teacher?
I give them a foundation to build on, and then I finish the cars up the next week.
All right. So with that being said, we'll be picking up on whatever topic or what cars that we have left in here from the class. And also throughout this weekend's class, these guys, along with a few others, will be in the studio helping out with the class. And I will be going through our Autogeek and our Mike Phillips's, probably our Autogeek. I'll probably just do it on one and share it over onto yours. And we'll be doing some live detailing classes, actually little live tips and tricks and stuff from these guys. So that way, just tune out through over the weekend. I'll be here Friday and Saturday. Sunday, I am taking off. Unlike Mike, I will be at home. And other than that, like I always say, my little dog and pony show, if you can, like, share, subscribe, tell everybody, and ring that bell, baby. All right, everybody. Anybody last? Nope. Yep, we're good.
Thank
Yep,
you.
all right.
See ya. Thanks for tuning in.
We're out. Peace.